This meeting is ordered last week, private conference for the procurement, the construction of the NRI building, phase 3, the ABC of 504,054,000. Before we proceed, the conference for the procurement of the construction of the NRI building.
Good morning po sa ating lahat.
3, the ABC of 504,054,000. Before we proceed, the conference.
Paririnig na po. Sa atin lang. Sige. Okay po. So good morning po. So our presiding officer, the back chair, Mr. Alexis Ortiz, vice chair, Ms. Rosemary Dumag, back members, Mr. Dave Briones, Ms. Jovi Medina, and Mr. Eldridge Ferrer. End user, Engineer Giselle Agaban, PWG for Infra, Engineer Eugene Ramirez, and Ms. Mildred Villanueva. Secretariat, yours truly, Mr. Harold Jonathan Balester, Ms. Maria Celina Recalde, and Ms. Mika Abalos. Our observer from the Commission on Audit, Ms. Kimberly Olfindo. And our representative from our CPM, from Asiana, Mr. Froilan Villarin, Mr. Carl Pimentel, and Mr. Rick Menzi. So for our prospective bidders, let me acknowledge first those present here at the conference room. Representing KL Construction and Supply, Mr. Arnold Di Maranan and Mr. Hernan Niebres. Then representing Dumduma Construction and Trading Corporation, Mr. Brian Pian, Miss Melody Agam, and Mr. Jeffrey Dupaya. Then representing MSB Bitug, Mr. Eli Kumankan.
Sir.
And Mr. Paul Resterio. Then representing CCB&J, Mr. Gerald Tapang. And we have also prospective bidders present via Zoom. First, representing RAC, WL Construction and Corporation, Mr. Edilberto Cruz Jr. Naririnig po, sir? Mukhang ano? Hindi naririnig, sir. Parang na. Naririnig kami, sir? Sige po. Then also from RAC WL Construction Corporation, Mr. Marco Gubalia. And lastly, Mr. Joseph Rodriguez from Freyfield.
Good morning po.
Pinaproceed po sa presentation ng ating details sa procurement. Hindi ko identify. By the engineer, binigyan na.
Good morning.
Zoom mo sila.
For the invitation to bid for the construction of the new DOST-FNRImain main building phase 3, including pilot plant and powerhouse, and the design and build of the drainage of DOST South Compound, reference number 26-05-08. So the Department of Science and Technology for the Nutrition Research Institute, the DOST-FNRI, through the General Appropriation Act for the fiscal year 2026, intends to apply the sum of 504,054,000 pesos, being the approved budget for the contract, two payments under the contracts for the construction of new DOST-FNRI main building phase 3. So the DOST-FNRI now invites bids for the construction of the new FNRI building located at DOST South Complex. Completion of works is required within 300 calendar date of receipt by the contractor of the notice to proceed. Bidding will be conducted through competitive bidding procedure using a non-discretionary pass-fail criterion as specified in the IRR. Bidding is restricted to Filipino citizen or sole proprietorship, cooperative and partnership or organization with at least 60% interest or outstanding capital stock belonging to said Philippines. Interested bidders may obtain further information from the Bank Secretariat and inspect the bidding documents at the address given below from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Interested bidder may access and download the following files provided with driving. So for the Annex A is the technical specification. For the Annex B, the drawing plans. In the Annex C is the blank BOQ. A complete set of bidding documents may acquire by interested bidder from May 6 to May 26, 2026 from the address and website below, and upon payment of the applicable fee for the bidding documents pursuant to latest guidelines issued by the DPPD in the amount of 75,000 pesos. It may also download it free of charge from the website of the PILJEPS and the website of the DPPD, provided that bidders shall pay the applicable fee for the bidding documents not later than the submission of their fees. The DOST-FNRI will hold pre-bid conference today, May 14, 9 a.m. at the DOST-FNRI conference room, and or through video conferencing via online platform, which shall be open to friendly viewers. Interested bidder are encouraged to inspect the project site before the specified time for pre-bid conference. For details of the location, the project site, refer to the item 2A of the terms of reference in section 6. Bids must be duly received by the Bank Secretariat through manual submission with 1 original copy, 5 printed copies, and electronic copies stored in the USB. Both shall be sealed in one properly labeled mother envelope as required in the invitation instruction for bidders close with the conflict of the bidders in relation to the structure of marking and sealing of fields in page 194 of the bidding document. At the DOST-FNRI, I will see you on or before 9 a.m. on May 26, 2026. Late bids shall not be accepted. All bids must be accompanied by bid security and any of the acceptable form and the amount stated in the ITD Clause 16. Bid opening shall be on May 28, 2026, 9 a.m. at the FNRI Institute of Companies and streamed via Facebook Live. Bids will be opened in the presence of bidders representatives who choose to attend the activity. Bidders shall bear all costs associated with the preparation and submission of their bids. The DOST-FNRI shall not, under any circumstances, be held responsible or liable for any expenses incurred by bidders, regardless of the conduct or outcome of the bidding process. Only bids from those who have paid the applicable fees for the bidding document shall be accepted. The DOST-FNRI assume no responsibility whatever to reimburse or compensate bidders or any cost related to the preparation of the bids. The contract shall be awarded to the bidder whose offer has been determined to be the most economical, advantageous, responsive bid, as evaluated in accordance with the criteria set forth in the bidding documents and applicable procurement law and regulation. In case of two or more bidders obtaining the same highest technical and financial score, the bids and awards committee shall resolve the tie through a non-discretionary draw lots procedure pursuant to DPP Circular number 06, 2005. The bidder who draws and the lot mark congratulations shall be cleared as having targeted the most economically advantageous bid and shall be recommended for the post qualification. The DOST-FNRI reserves the right to reject any and all bids declare a failure of bidding and not award the contract any time prior to contract award in accordance with section 17 RA 12009 without thereby incurring any liability to the affected bidder or bidders. So, yan po yung obligation to bid natin. For the next po, yung ating BDS in data sheet where it will be discussed by our consultant.
He didn't problem. No, narrator. Okay.
Si your card na po. So, your card, the floor is yours. Thank you.
For the bid data sheet, in ITP clause 1, as provisions are is the procuring entity is the DOST-FNRI. The project title is the construction of a new DOST-Food and Nutrition Research Institute main phase 3, pilot plant and powerhouse, and the design and build of the drainage of DOST South Powerhouse. The reference number is 2026-0508. The funding source number 2 is GOP through the source of funding as indicated below for fiscal year 2026 in the amount of 540,054,000. The source of funding is the General Appropriations Act of 2026. For section 3.1, there's no further instruction. For section 5.1, bidding is restricted to eligible bidders as defined in ITP clause 5.1 and with the following additional requirement. Number 1, the bidder shall submit a statement of all ongoing government and private contracts, including those awarded but not yet commenced, whether similar or not in nature and complexity to the contract bid, as well as a statement of all completed contracts similar in nature and complexity undertaken within the last 10 years. Number 2, original duly signed omnibus sworn statement and if applicable, original notarized secretary's certificate in case of a corporation, partnership, or cooperative, or original special power of attorney of all members of the joint venture or consortium, giving full power and authority to its officer to sign the OSS and do acts to represent the bidder. Number 3, original copy of notarized deed securing declaration and original copy of deed security. If in the form of a surety bond, submit also a certification issued by the Insurance Commission. Number 4, construction method as outlined in the checklist of technical and financial documents found in Annex B. And 5, site visitation certificate issued by the head of DOST-FNRI. For section 5.2, for this purpose, contracts similar to the project refer to contracts which have the same major categories of work, which shall be major category work, BICWO/PHC, or building construction without piles, high-rise concrete frame, 10 and above stories. For similar categories, building construction of medium-rise reinforced building or structure using reinforced concrete construction frame. So, the above qualifiers must be supported with certificate of acceptance and bill of qualities. The above SLCC must be supported by an owner's certificate of final acceptance issued by the project owner other that the contractor or a final rate of at least satisfactory to the construction performance evaluation system in case the contracts with the private sector an equivalent document shall be submitted. Section 5.4, the required track record shall be the following. The bidder must have completed within the last 10 years prior to the deadline for the submission and the receipt of needs an SLCT that is similar to the procurement project to be bid and whose value must be equivalent to at least 50% of the ABC. Contracts similar to the project shall be described as follows. The construction of at least one 6-story building or other vertical project of comparable type and scope, such as institutional, government, or commercial office structures, including architectural, structural, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, or sanitary, and civil work component. And the design and construction of drainage system, including pipelines and or box culvert, or similar structure projects of comparable type and scope, such as storm drainage network, flood control system, or site drainage work, including hydrologic and hydraulic design, excavation, pipe or culvert installation, and associated civil works under a design and build scheme. Number 7, no further instruction. And for section 8.1, subcontracting shall be allowed only for specialized work such as soil poisoning, water sweeping, and construction. 8.3, subcontractor shall be required to possess the technical capability and relevant experience appropriate to the portion of the work to be subcontracted. And 8.4, the contractor shall disclose any intended subcontracting arrangement during contract implementation. No subcontractor shall be engaged without prior written approval of the PMO procuring. For 9.1, the procuring entity will hold a pre-bid conference for this project on 14 May 2026, 9 AM at the DOST-FNRImain UST compound General Santos Avenue, PC, and through video conference via online platform. The procuring entities addressed as follows. Chester Civil India, FNRI Back Secretariat, FNRI UST compound, General Santos. Contact person is Alexis M. Ortiz, the chairperson. The DOST FNRI Meets and Awards Committee. Telephone number of 883-731-64. The website FNRI UST go.ph. 12.1b. The current and income license and registration for building and or industrial plant. Project type with at least large base for size range and triple for license category. If bidding as a joint venture, special pickup license must also be submitted by the joint venture in addition to the pickup license and station company. Notes, 1. A special license application of the joint venture may be accepted, provided that it is filed at least 5 working days for the day of the resolution number 186, series of 2014, issued by the Department of Trade. Number 2, all partners must submit a valid pickup license and registration. However, only one of the JV partners is required to meet the required size range under the said project type. For 12.1 H, number 2, the key personnel must meet the required minimum of experience set below. For the project manager, its general experience should be at least 10 years and should be a licensed civil engineer with 7 years of experience as a project manager in a similar project. For a project engineer, he or she should have a 7 years experience with a a 5 years experience in as a project experience as a player project. For a structural engineer, with 5 years general experience must be a licensed civil engineer and a minimum of 5 years structural engineering in a similar project. Surveyor, at least 5 years of general experience and a licensed geotech engineer with a minimum of 5 years experience as a surveyor in a civil project. An electrical engineer with 5 years experience and a license in electrical engineering with a minimum of 5 years experience as an electrical engineering civil project. Mechanical engineer with at least 5 years experience as a mechanical with a similar project and should have a license in mechanical engineering. For the materials engineer, he should have or you should have a license civil engineering license, civil engineering, DPWH accredited materials engineer 2, minimum of 5 years experience as a materials engineer 2 in a similar project. For the quantity surveyor, he should have a license in civil engineering and a minimum of 5 years experience as a quantity surveyor in a similar project. For the hydrologist or hydraulic engineer, he or she should have a license or in civil engineering or sanitary engineering with a minimum of 5 years experience in plant and water research analysis. For the safety and health officer, he should have or she should have 7 years experience as an SO3 in a similar project and a certified SO research. For the planner and scheduler, he or she should have a license. He or she should have a license in engineering and a minimum of 5 years experience as a planner in similar projects. For the CAD operator, he or she should have he or she should be a graduate of BS Architecture or BS Civil Engineering, minimum of 3 years experience as a CAD operator in similar project. And finally, for the document controller, he or she should have a college degree and a minimum of 3 years experience as a document controller in similar project. Each of the contractor's key personnel must be supported by the following document. A curriculum vitae, B, a valid, not expired PRC ID issued by PRC for PMPE, SE, DE, ME, GE, and T. HE, and a certificate of training and Bosch issued by the DOLE accredited with training certificate for the construction safety and health. And B, a valid certificate of accreditation as ME2 by the DPW. For the case of renewal, submit a copy of the following: expired PRC ID and a proof of payment through receipt for the renewal of the PRC ID and a certificate of Bosch or Bosch credited by the. The key personnel listed above are just the minimum requirements. Additional personnel such as project management and additional CSHP may be required depending on actual project situation. The number of safety officers required on the construction site depends on the number of workers, regardless nature of the work and level of the project in accordance with RA 11058. 12.1H-3. Minimum major equipment requirements are the following: a backhoe with a capacity of 1 cubic meter, at least 3 units, dump truck with at least 12 cubic meter and at least 3 units, a mobile crane, 1 unit of 50 ton, a man hoist lift, 1 unit of 1 capacity, a big compactor, 4 units of 5 HP horsepower capacity, 2 bar cutters, 2 bar benders, 4 welding machine at least 500 amperes, concrete vibrator, 2 units of at least 5 amperes, concrete, 8 compactor with at least 5 horsepower and water pump. In addition, refer to DPWH with series of 27 for minimum material testing equipment and testing equipment. 12.4. The ABC is 504,054,000 pesos. Any bid with a financial component exceeding this amount shall not be accepted. For section 14.1, the bid prices shall be quoted in Philippine peso. Similar to 14.2, payment shall be made in Philippine peso. 15.1, bids will be valid for 120 calendar days from bid opening. For section 16.1, the bid security shall be in the form of bid securing declaration or any of the following. The amount of not less than 10,081,080 pesos. If bid security is in cashier's manager check, the amount of not less than 25,302,700 pesos. If bid security is in bank draft, guarantee, or mabalik. For number 3, the amount of not less than 25,202,700 pesos if should be valid. For section 16.2, the bid security shall be valid until 23rd September 2026. Number 16.3, substitution of the bid security is not allowed. For 18.3, all envelopes shall be labeled as follows. Technical component and a bid for reference number 2023 2026-0508 and the title of the project, company name, company address, email address, and chairperson of the DOST bank pool. Should have additionally note of do not open before 26th of May 2026 9 a.m. and we should have at least 5 copies and 9 copies. Check one of these original technical component for copies as follows. For the financial component, label the envelope as follows. Financial component, a bid for the reference number, the project title, the company name, company address, the email address, and the chairperson of the DOST PH. It should have a note of do not open for 26th of November 2026 9 a.m. Should have a check mark on one of the following. For number 19, the address for manual submission of bids is DOST-FNRIMain, DOST compound, General Santos Avenue, Bikutan, Taguig City. The deadline for submission of bids is on 26th of May 2026, 9 a.m. It is standard time. And the date and time of bid opening is 26th of May 2026, 9 a.m. The place of bid opening is similar. The DOST-FNRIMain, DOST compound, General Santos Avenue, Bikutan, Taguig City. Qualified bidder shall be required to conduct an oral presentation of their technical submission not exceeding 10 minutes as part of the evaluation process. 22.2b, and applicable for 25.3b, the quality component shall be assessed on the base criteria with the corresponding numerical weight, which may lead to quality, safety, environmental, or social aspect linked to the subject matter of the contract. This may include any or combination of the values, a quality and technical merit, purely technical competence, credible track record, the aesthetic and functional design and characteristics, the approachability, the accessibility, the tools and equipment, social, environmental, economic, and innovative characteristics, the organization qualification, experience of employees or staff assigned to perform the contract. H. Ongoing contracts and work commitments. I. After sales service and technical assistance. J. Delivery conditions such as delivery period, delivery process. K. Disposal measures. And other relevant criteria and the subject goods or infrastructure of the products to 25.3/3. Proposal shall be evaluated through a weight scoring system where it's 80% the total score shall be allocated to the quality of such as, but not limited to the business methodology, organization, and personal communication and sustainability issues. The remaining 20% shall be assigned to the price proposal, ensuring that cost competitive is considered alongside technical merit and environmental responsibility. The quality component shall be evaluated in accordance with the criteria enumerated below. Each assigned a corresponding numerical weight. These criteria encompass qualitative, environmental, and social dimensions that are related to the subject matter of the contract. For next, criterion A, experience and technical merit. The contractor performance CPES is equivalent to 5%. The number of similar projects is equivalent to 4%, and the relevant construction experience shall be 3%. For the ISO certification, QMS, it should have a weight of 1%. For the criterion B, approach and methodology, the design and construction shipment should be 4%, resource schedule 4%, quality control and safety 4%, risk management 3%, and workflow diagram 4%. For tools and equipment, old equipment is 3%, availability certificates for lease 2%, and equipment capacity should match 2%. For criterion B, waste plan should be 3%, innovation 1%, and human participation should be 3%. For criterion B, for project manager should have a 4% weight. Project engineer 2%, structural engineer 2%, surveyor 2%, electrical engineer 2%, mechanical 3%, MEP 3%, quantity surveyor 2%, hydraulic for hydrologist 2% weight, safety and health officer 3%, planner scheduler 2%, staff operator 1%, long 1%, organizational structure 2%. For the ongoing workload, current capacity should have 3% and completion rate of 3%. For after sales service, the warranty shall have a weight of 2%, maintenance plan 2%, and expansion can be 1%. Age. The delivery condition criteria for H.1 should be scheduled should have a 2% weight, CPA 2%, and mobilization time 4%. The disposal measures for segregation 1%, DNR howler and wind 1%, cycling 1%. The project is specific. Digital monitoring 1%, inside integration 1%. For 25 things, not applicable. For 25.5, partial bill is not allowed. The infrastructure project is packaged on a single lot from the lot shall be divided, not be divided into sublots for the purpose of legal evaluation and contract award. In all cases, the NFC's computation applicable must be sufficient for all the lots. No contract will be awarded to the bidder. 25.5 bid correction is not allowed. 25.6 no further instruction. 26.1 below is the list of other appropriate licenses permits relevant to the project. There's correspondence to the requiring BIR certificate registration form with 303 NIRC 1987. A valid tax clearance PO 398. And a total SCSHP approval means total certificate no pending case RA 11058 total TO and 19818. For Dole SO first aider certificate accreditation Dole 3019180. For 29.3F, all essential and necessary contract documents relevant to the project that are required by existing laws and more comparing construction schedule as per manpower schedule, construction method schedule, etc. Without part CPF or other acceptable tools of project status. Section 30.3. The performance security shall be in the form of choose any one from any of the following. Up to 405,400 in cash, cashier check, manager's score, bank draft, guarantee, products. Irrevocable LOC or surety bond. 151,200 pesos.
Especially.
For the special conditions of contract, CCC clause
Wala kang
1.
pasok.
The intended completion date is 300 calendar days upon receipt of the contract. The procuring entity is similar, DOST-FNRIMain. Site is located at DOST Southern Hall, Central Hospital, payment of and was illustrated as item 2 of EOPA. The start date is upon receipt by the contractor of notice to pursue. The work consists of the construction of new DOST and FNRI main building, phase 3, pilot plant, powerhouse, design and the design and build of the drainage and the builds, including but not limited to all necessary structural, electrical, hydraulic, and all other related services necessary for the full satisfaction of the project. Going to no further instruction for section 5.1. The procuring entity shall give possession of all parts of the site to the contractor upon done terms of statement and the date of possession is as scheduled for the pilot plant and DOSG drainage line without compound upon issuance of entry for the powerhouse 11 August 2020, the main building 15 August 2026. The constructor shall employ and deploy the same precursor as enumerated in the DORI 5.2 and 20. Particularly under the technical eligibility regarding the sign and construction from the contractor. For 8.1, the amount of the advance payment is 15% of the contract price to be made in one lump sum payment. 9.1, no further instruction. 9.4, the advance payment shall be repaid by the contractor by deducting 15% from his periodic progress payment. Percentage equal to the percentage of the total contract price used for the advance payment. The first progress payment may be paid by the procuring entity of the contractor, provided that at least 20% of the work has been accomplished as certified by the procuring entity. No further instruction for section 12.7. For section 30, a site ocular inspection is mandatory. A certificate of site inspection report shall be issued by the procuring entities representative in every site. This shall be part of the resolution. Failure to do so shall be suspended with the notification. Likewise, this shall also serve as a certification that the aforementioned reader has sufficiently and fully familiarized himself with the site condition or project site, as well as the possible challenges associated with this that may pose during the actual construction, documentation, and that is possible attendant circumstances will be considered when it prepares examination works from the same. The bidder or contractor will the outpost of the dispute shall be inspected the site and declare the general characteristics of the contracted works and the location of furnace project, such as the location and the nature of the work, climatic condition, transportation facilities, nature and condition of the terrain, geological condition of the site, education facility, requirements, operations, and availability of construction applications, other material labor, water, electric, power, and so on. So the other factors that may affect the cost, duration, and execution or implementation of the contract project or work and examine all instruction forms, terms, and project requirements in the briefing documents, including other contract documents of the project. All information data report provided by the procurement people and should be verified from the details. Any inconsistencies, discrepancies, or misinterpretation that may arise or found therein that was not inquired or clarified by the people during the meeting or legislation, figuring the performance of the meeting should be resolved accordingly. Shall not be at against some appearing entity, its representative, and its managers. 3.3, not applicable. No feasibility or preliminary engineering studies available for the project. The contractor shall notify the outside condition under the necessary industries required for the execution. 15.3, no further expansion. 3.5. In case of permanent structures such as building of site 4 and 5 as classified under NBC and other structure because still are concrete, which comply with relevant structural codes, e.g., PWH standards, such as, but not limited to steel concrete, beach, flyovers, and traffic areas, supports, slabs, standards, treatment facilities, sewage, power plants, and transmission, information tower, and other similar structures should have a the 19.2. Arbitrator shall be a person mutually agreed to the procuring entity in the contract or within 15 days after the contract is signed. If failed to agree, the arbitrator shall be appointed by the construction industry arbitration commission, CIA's accordance with the CIA law, EO-100 and the relevant CIA solution. Or section 26, the special in the instance that the contractor is a joint venture, all partners to the joint venture shall be jointly and severally liable to the procuring entity. For 25.8, no further instruction. 27.2. Below are the list of violations which will warrant suspension, which may include but is not limited to value. Failure of the constructor due to sole defects or negligence to mobilize and start work of the farm within specified period of the entity. Being failure by the contractor to fully and faithfully comply with its contractual obligation without valid cause, or failure by the contractor to comply with any written lawful instruction of the procuring entity or its representative. Pursuant to the implementation of the contract or procurement of the infrastructure project or consequence the whole structure will employment of competent legal and competent or supervisor provision of requirements according to stockpile in proper places of all materials removal from the project site. Deployment of committed and facilities for the installation. 5. Renewal of the effective dates of the performance of the companies that they should do the project. 4C. Assignment of subcontract or a partner or substitution of the person of the elevated approval with the the work performance of the contractor unsatisfactory quality and progress of the arising from its following as reflected in the sheet. In the absence of sleepers, the existing performance of the system, the post steering initial type. Any of the following acts by the contractor shall be construed as poor performance. 1. Negative slippage of 15% and above within the critical part of the project, due entirely to the fault of or negligence of the contractor. And B. the quality, the weight of materials and workmanship not complying with the approved specification arising from the construction factors related. And P, willful or deliberate abandonment or non-performance of the project or contract by the contractor resulting to substantial breach thereof without lawful and or just cause. In addition to the penalty of suspension, the performance security posted by the contractor shall also be forfeited. For 31.1, days or works, day works are applicable at the rate told in the contractor's original bid. 33.1, the contractor shall submit the program of work to the procuring entity within 15 days from receipt of the notice of award. For 33.3, the period between program of work shall be updated with every submission of a progress billing. The amount to be withheld for late submission of an updated program of the work is equivalent to 1/10 the 1% the total contract price for every day of delay, but not exceeding 10% of the total contract price. The funding source is the government of the Philippines, 36.3 and 43.1. The percentage to apply to the value of work uncompleted is 15%. 44.5. An extension of contract may be granted on the following grounds: rainy or workable days, considered unfavorable for the prosecution of the works of the site, based on the actual condition of the in excess of the number of rainy or unworkable days predetermined during entity in relation to the original contract plan during the conduct PED and in the preparation of the contract law of the applicable parties before contract perfection. In court, the major calamities such as exceptionally destructive typhoons, floods, earthquakes, and earthquakes. See delays attributable to the procuring entity such as non-delivery on time, material working drawing, printed information furnished by the computer entity, and acquisition to permit to explain private property or non-exposed legal scale or the even right to conflict analysis on private feelings. And 40, other very curious causes as determined by the equipment and approved by the such as shortage of the construction material, general labor strikes, and case and order problem that construction operation to no fault to the contractor. For 48.1, the days by which operating investment are required is prior to the insurance of the accident. Date by which annual roads are required prior to the insurance of the certificate of completion. For 8.2, the amount to be withheld for failing to produce asphalt roads and for operating and maintenance manual to be taken before is the final agreement that mentioned.
Engineer, ano pa po?
For the specification, we-discuss po natin that's all that.
Hanggang phase 1 po, iba pa sa amin.
So siguro, magkakalit kayo.
TO. Yung TOR will be presented by engineer.
Ayun, engineering.
Parang alam nila.
So, let's go po sa TOR, terms of reference. Project construction of new DOST-FNRIMain Institute, DOST main building, phase 3 pilot plant and powerhouse, and the design and build of drainage of the OST self-control. Location, DOST compound, General Santos Avenue, Bicutan, Taguig City, Metro Manila. Background. The DOST Food and Nutrition Research Institute has recognized the necessary for the construction of new food and nutrition research institute, fitting as long as term solution to mitigate the damage and the big one stones. Because the existing DOST-FNRIMain building is situated above the West Valley Fault line as reported by the DOST Finlands. The construction of the new DOST-FNRIMain building will have an opportunity to expand research and development activities in the field of food and nutrition. The new building is expected to provide a state-of-the-art laboratories, offices, conference rooms, and other relevant facilities. This building will serve as a hub for innovation and discovery, supporting DOST commitment to advancing science and technology in the country. The government of the Republic of the Philippines, through the DOST-FNRImain 6 line, to engage the services of qualified and experienced construction company, the contractor, to carry out the necessary civil and structural works of the new FNRI building located as DOST Complex General Santos Avenue, Bitucan, Cavite. Number 2, the project. The DOST-FNRI hereby referred to as the ruling entity has received the allocation funds from General Fund, General Appropriation Act, GFJ 2026, and intends to allocate the amount of 504,054,000 pesos as the approved budget for the contract ABC for the construction of the new DOST Food and Nutrition Research Institute main building phase 3, pilot plant and powerhouse, and the design and build of the drainage of DOST South Compound. Hereinafter referred to as the project. This budget includes all the associated with the project, including labor, materials, equipment, permits, inspections, and any other related expenses. The procurement and implementation of the project shall be governed by the IRR of the Republic Act number 12009, otherwise known as the New Government Procurement Act, as well as all applicable building codes, regulations, and department orders that may be issued by the US FNRI. The scope of work as follows. 3.1. The construction of basically Year 3 of the building construction involving the following scope of work. General requirements. So as follows. The contractor shall provide all materials, equipment, supervision, and incidents that are necessary for the execution of general requirement works, included but not limited to the following: construction of the field office of the engineer, with utilities, furniture, fixtures, and appliances, inclusion of rental, furnishing, operation, and maintenance, living quarters for the individual, provision of all required furnitures, fixtures for the field office and living quarters, continuous operation and maintenance of public facilities, provision of service vehicles, 2 units to be bought, provision of installation and maintenance of education facilities and equipment, including internal vehicles or equipment system for selling personnel, deployment of field office staff to assist in the implement provision, inspection, and documentation, provision of progress video documentation on a regular basis, establish operation of contractors with office shops, storage facilities, utilities, services, provision of security services through a security agency duly accredited and approved by DOST-FNRI, including deployment of qualified security personnel for site protection, provision and installation of temporary fence board for site security protection, provision of temporary facilities and utilities, including water supply, electrical power, lighting, range, and communication system necessary for construction. Provision installation of general scaffolding, shoring, bracing, safety netting required for construction operation. Secure all necessary permits, licenses, and clearances from concerned government agencies, and ensuring compliance with all applicable laws, codes, and regulations. Conduct of a construction survey layout and staging would be establishment of control codes, benchmarks, mobilization of all manpower, equipment, materials, and temporary facilities for the project site prior to commencement of work. Demobilization and removal of all temporary structures, implementation of OSH, and provision for PPEs, PPEs. Implementation of environmental management and monitoring. conduct of material sampling, testing, and submission of the report in accordance with the project specification, coordination with accredited laboratories, and implementation of quality control assurance and procedures. Supply, installation, and maintenance of project fieldwork design works. Preparation, submission of shop drawings as built and others required, and provision of progress photos and reports. Maintenance of site, maintenance, sanitation, and proper waste disposal. Other ancillary work services and detected items indicated that we owe for necessary for the proper establishment of the project. And only site works or earthworks. Therefore, the focus as follows: clearing and traveling of the project site, including the removal of trees, etc. Demolition and removal of basic structure, obstruction, both above and below the segregation and with stockpiling of salvageable materials designated areas. Site preparation, demonstration of topsoil, leveling, and preparation of soil. Construction, survey, layout, taking of all earthworks. Structural excavation, required lines, grades. Hauling and disposal of excavated and stored material, the watering, operation, stockpiling, use of raw materials, compaction, subgrade, gravel bedding, taking in concrete, application of soil poisoning, thermal control, installation of import retardant. Provision of temporary slope protection, removal of obstruction, operation of the affected areas, and all other requirements for working. For civil or structural works, including necessary nets, utilities, strategies, blackouts, embedments as deemed necessary in accordance with design and specification. The extent and limits of the work shall be determined based on the structural key plans and drawings. A contractor shall provide all labor and material and supervision incidental necessary for the execution of all civil structural works, included but not limited to concrete formworks and forwards works, including fabrication, erection, supply fabrications, padding, ventilation, and type, the required steel body or plate for supply excavation of this direction, including 270 KSI standing wires, anchorage devices. Placement of structural concrete of various strengths, including patching, mixing, transporting, placing, and repair of defective works. Construction of all reinforced concrete structural elements, such as roofing, beams, as stated in the supply, fabrication, and erection of structural silicon members, including steel beams, columns, trusses, but only for the powerhouse. Provision and application of waterproofing, non-proofing, federal admixture during the function required finish for structural elements. Installation of all nets and basements, checks and roundings, including pipe sleeves, conduits, and basements, bed and plates, insertion hammers, ports, blackouts, etc. Coordination with all plates to ensure accurate placement of alignments for investment activities. Provision of scaffolding for from form supports, temporary placing, etc. Provision and installation of perimeter fence. Existing perimeter fence along the property boundaries of DOST, etc. The fence shall match the existing in terms of type, height, material, pitch, and the otherwise direct figures, etc. Which would be as stated in the keynotes. Conduct of inspection, testing, quality control, and documentation, and all materials and needed as stated in the video. The design and build of the drainage line, the DOST subcompound. The contractor shall undertake a complete design, engineering, construction of the drainage system, and shall be fully responsible for its adequacy, safety, and performance. The scope of work shall include but not related to review, verification, validation of successful base layout provided by the procurement entity, including aligned with discharge collecting system configuration, collection and consolidation of all permanent pertinent data for the design, such as conduct of topographic and control surveys supervised by a licensed failure dedicated uh, in accordance with land administrative order number 4, survey accuracy, acceptable tolerances, station of updated hydrologic, climatic and rainfall data, for verification of actual traffic, answers, soil condition, existing environmental sustain. Compliance with all applicable evidence design guidelines. Conduct of hydrologic analysis, such as catchment areas, drainage boundaries, standoff, coefficient, land service condition, rainfall intensity, duration, time of concentration, design, discharge, using rational method. Conduct hydraulic analysis in the site to identify the following signing and of pipes and box culverts, determinations of stone, velocity, and capacity. Establishment of hydraulic grid line, ensuring no surcharge backflow or planning with the system, collection of appropriate design to term period. Preparation and solution of engineering design. Supply installation of the drainage pipeline, construction of manhole catch basin inlet outlets, junction structure and appurtenances. Execution of excavation, trenching, bedding, pipe laying, backfilling, and compaction. Connection to existing drainage, implementation of the watering system, temporary control, provision and implementation of erosion control, conduct of inspection, testing, commissioning, restoration of all affected areas, including pavement, road, utilities, and contractor shall ensure the completed system is hydraulical adequate, structurally sound, and capable of conveying the design discharge without planning overlapping or failure. The winning contractor will be required to perform the following classes. Develop and submit a detailed construction program, execute the works in accordance with the approved plans, specification and contract requirements, and show full responsibility for the quality of the project. Secure, maintain, and comply with all necessary permits, coordinate with the procuring entity, and will allow agency stakeholders to ensure timely implementation. Implement environmental protection, ensure compliance, establish quality control, quality assurance system, implement and enforce quality construction safety and health program, ensure proper supervision, conduct all required testing and commission prior to acceptance. Preference and list as do shop drawings and as with that. Ensure the protection of work and properties and capabilities, maintain proper site control, housekeeping, orderliness, complete all funds decided, equations identified prior to project and rectify all defects. For the project duration and timing of the project is as follows. Site investigation reports and deliverables 22 calendar days. The detailed engineering, display, technical plans and permitting 30 calendar days. Construction of drainage and pilot plant 100 days. Construction of improvement with Powerhouse 150 calendar days. Claims contract types, extension will be in accordance with IRR plus resolution. Unworkable dates shall be due to unfavorable weather conditions, must also take it into consideration in the project construction duration based on the following. For June, there's 6 unworkable days. July, 6 days, August, 6 days, September, 9 days, October, 6 days, November, 6 days, December, 3 days, January, 3 days, and 0 for February, March, and April. A total of project unworkable days for 5 days. In the event that the actual unworkable days projected to not exceed the projected unworkable days, that is the only time that the cycle shall be claimable. However, this still subject to validation and approval of NFR. In addition, if the actual numbers of unworkable days did not exceed the projection on a particular month, the surplus shall not be carried over to the rest of the months. The qualification at QOR, an extensive experience in constructing research institute or similar projects support the achieved. A proven track record completing project at been tangible in budget, the necessary licenses and certification required as permit a commitment to safe, sustainability and ethical construction processes, adequate resources and financial contracting capacity. Meeting shall be conducted by the impact to be assisted by the FNRI infra committee and duly authorized CPM consultant. The FNRI infra committee, the CPM shall also assist the the evaluation of technical proposal in accordance with the criteria set. The bidder will need to provide the following similar to the mitigation. And equipment. The formation key personnel shall be mandatory and shall be assigned to the project on a full-time basis for the duration of the construction project. Unless otherwise approved by the contractor may get those additional professional support at his own expense. Prospective bidder shall submit CV, PRC, license, and other supporting documents. For the list of major equipments is similar to the data sheet as follows. For contract number 6, contract implementation. It shall comply to the IRR number 12, RE 12009. Prior to commission construction work, no work shall commence until the contractor has secured the necessary building permit and clearances for construction. Execution of work must adhere to the documents. The contractor is responsible for obtaining all necessary information regarding this contingencies and within 40 calendar days, the issuance of NTP. The contractor shall submit a comprehensive program of works for approval of the acquisition. These are the list of the program of works as specified in the QOR, the order is to carry out work. Views of reviews of specific output, sequence of planning for inspection and tests, and etc. Any error, omission, or inconsistencies between failures submitted by the owner that do not meet the requirement must be corrected, resolved, and complete. The approval of change or valuation order shall be governed by IRR. The contractor shall provide all necessary person instrument of payment, carry out specified testing. And the construction project shall have a defects liable in quality. A contractor shall be held liable for structural defects and for failure of the object with a warranty of 15 for permanent structures building are specified. Obligation of the approving entity. Provide available data to the contractor. The procuring entity informs the bidders that the data information contained in the billing documents are for reference only, that the procuring entity can guarantee that they are accurate or correct for us to go to the project. The bidder by the officer shall be deemed of inspected the site as similar to the application. Similar, acquire road right of way. To respond to the contractor's communication request in a timely manner. We monitor the implementation of the project to CPM consultant. He paid the contractors and accomplishments accepted in conformity with the payment scale as follows. First, progress limit, 20% accomplishment, taking the based on actual accomplishment on a monthly basis. For F, designate an on-site representative of the project and G, perform other responsibilities within the specified contract. For contractors, general responsibility, contractors shall certify their own credits, some the proposed site. The contractor shall do the fact that all works, the contractor shall provide USD with a comprehensive report, technical analysis and notes. The contractor shall cross-inform the USD and CPM of any critical events or events that occur during the construction process. Yes. The contractor must become already contract is from the contractor must be accountable for any actions during the execution of the project. The all works designed and constructed shall be guaranteed to seamlessly integrate the overall system. Ensure that all works at the stage of design, construction, and restoration be carried out efficiently and effectively. Submit daily activity reports and the progress of submit supporting documents for progress payments. Take approved as built plans, one originally, one side minor sheet, and 5 other copies into 2. The contractor shall, prior to the commencement of any work, prepare and submit for approval or necessary plans, construction, technologies, work from related documents. For reporting and communication. The contractor shall participate in regular coordination with USDF monthly, simply and get monthly general coordination meetings. The contractor shall prepare and submit regular progress reports to the designated project manager of DOST-FNRIMain, detailing the construction activities. The contractor will be responsible for delivering the following traffic program, with a regular progress report and affidavit stating that the contractor has satisfied completed all the required works prior to the issuance of COC. And for confidentiality, all details related to the project, including plant design and other related information, are to be treated as confidential. The contractor is not permitted to disclose any consent. The procurement, evaluation of the quality assurance. The project will be subject to regular evaluation and inspection to ensure that the work is being carried out according to the project. And insurance, the contractor will be required to provide proof of adequate insurance coverage for the duration of the project. For 8.6 warranty, the contractor in the performance of his revision your taking at its own expense all registration license permitted or test as required by the national or local laws. And 8.7 penalization. The contractor shall comply with all safety regulatory standards, proof plan specification, all regulation, durable testing and material standards, and all required of these terms of reference. Time instruction shall be issued to the contractor in relation to the compliance with the aforementioned guidelines. Failure to comply with the application shall result in the issuance of non-conformance, which shall be subject to a corresponding penalties with the formula of reductions equal to affected work value times deficiency in percentage. The deficiency of percentage shall be determined by the agency based on the extent and the application of performance. Violation, negligence, or willful disregard of sign instruction are further result in additional sanction, including but not limited to holding of payment for contract regulation, subject to the provision of applicable laws. The contract shall be responsible for the performance of deficiency and additional costs to be in the prescribed corrective action agreements. So, for section attached as annex A specific page over. For section 7.
Ayan, for the section 7, Annex A, Annex B at Annex C ay sa provided their drive link makikita ko. Ayun, so ganun din sir, nasa Annex C din po yun. Makikita din po yan sa Google Drive. So that's all sir. Okay.
Yes. Close na open po for clarification ng ating mga prospective leaders. Dahil po muna natin na online po. Nasa online pa ba ito? Okay, gusto po bang i-clarify yung mga kasama po natin sa online? Sa briefing po, may clarification po. No po.
Wala na.
Sa Rockwell po, may gusto po bang clarify? Ano po, sa Rockwell. Wala po sa Rockwell. Sa Prayfield po.
Okay na po, sir. No questions po. Thank you.
Po. Dito sa Prayfield kaya po sa Rockwell. Dito po sa conference ng Tigiset.
Doon sa mga doctors, what is the minimum required drawing to be submitted as part of the technical proposal? What is the minimum required?
Wala naman itong required na drawing. Ano lang po yun sa liquidation natin.
Yung sa silent lead, kasi yung provided na walang mga dimension yung sa drawing sa annexes. Yung sa development, graphic.
Yung sa
Suggestion pag punta tayo dun sa part na ito.
Annex.
Ano kung
Doon sir sa drawing, mga drawing ng products, walang mga dimension na lalo na
Sir.
sa site development, nasa baba. So yung mga plan.
anong part po?
Sa annex. Sa annex yata sa
Ilang square meter ba yun? Site. Okay, para doon sa catchment area, pwede.
wala ka abang nakagis.
Ilang square meter? Parang
Saan po yun, sir?
yung total area.
Design in field po, sir.
Yes.
Mula sa, kailangan niyo po mag-investigate sa site to.
Wala siyang specific, wala Italian mo lang yung site natin, or title.
Meron po. Yan, total area po na. Tinatanong nila yung total area ng lupa natin, sir.
Yung lot ng FNRI ay nasa 6,000.
So yun ang match load.
Hindi lang yun. Kasi may katabi siya pa na lote na mag-contribute sa drainage na yun. So, kasama yun sa focus holder.
More or less ilang test.
Siguro mga
Ganito na lang.
pero
Sorry, kailangan niyo pong kailangan niyo pong mag-survey, kunin niyo yung contour, kunin niyo yung mga tributary areas kung saan magtutuloy yung tubig. Hindi po provide. Not necessarily po na yung total. At least wala sana yung total yung area. Baka po yung lote natin na gano'n, hindi na makukuha yun. Pagkukulan yung pababa sa area na. Kailangan may contour survey po. O design. So you are talking po with you're talking about yung sa drainage, yung sa design ng building drainages. Yun lang naman po may walang dimensions pa kasi kailangan pong mag-survey doon, ocular, tignan talaga, kunin yung contour, makukuha natin yung tributary area ng mga kung saan magpo-flow yung tubig. May site investigation po, which is later on, i-declare po natin dito, determine natin site inspection para may attendance kayo ng site visit. Para doon sa mga sir, kayo, ako. Pwede naman po kung ano. Para hindi na po kayo babalik. Sige po. I was not asked. Yung sa hindi na mention yung architectural sa building, wala na architectural.
Structural lang po.
at yung scope of works natin, sir, is structural. Is architectural.
Ilang phase ba?
Hanggang basic style, hanggang sa tapos nila.
So dun sir sa yung sa submit na video wala.
Full drawings doon sa pag kinect ko check, wala akong tayo sa submit na petrol drawing. Kaya na po kami ng
27 month.
gagawin niyo na lang po yung proper survey, tapos proper collection rate sa pag-asa para man-design.
Ang tutok ng bato sir, pakita lang natin sa option nyo na lang siguro.
Alin dito sa dito?
Ano yung nandun sa links? Tulong sa links.
Yeah, movies.
Annex B, sir, annex. Yeah, is that
Yung pilot na lang siguro sa jet, kasi yung
And
Drainage, yung
pinaka-last sheet. Ito po yun. Po yung topic. Ito po yung nakakaw natin ng design and build.
yung total area ng site is 6,000 square.
Okay. Yung blue na yan. Plus yung isang tributary area niya, yung katabi pa, yung adjacent lot sa taas. Plus the tributary area from the road. Sa upper right.
ano yung dilaw sa boundary ng piga.
Ayan sir, yung additional
fencing sir.
fence.
Ito po kasi yung phase 2 covered natin. So ito po yung additional natin. Ano lang. Included na po sa POQ. So ito po yung i-design natin yung magiging yung drainage natin yung kontra sa atin.
Sir Carl, kasama ba yan doon sa ano? Sa in-upload? Hindi. So i-upload na lang ulit sa drive.
Anong annex?
Annex B.
Annex B.
Pa-update na lang yung ano man para tama yung maibibigay na file sa mga prospective bidders.
Naka-intervention sa kasi yung nakita namin, walang mga dimension yung
Wala ba yung
sa building.
sige sir. Kung natin mas malinaw na direction.
Okay na sir. Okay. Okay na kayo. Okay. Sige.
Sir, sa mga forms, nakalagay kasi ito. Letter din mag-limit. Sa mga forms, we can limit it para advance. Ang pre-request kami natin. Yung size. Indicators ng natin.
Oo, kayo yung 23.
Kakontra.
Okay na sir.
May form ko sa pinaka-baba ng curriculum dito. Pinaka-baba. Attachment annex dito. Pinaka-guro ng NP.
Yes. Sa kanilang determinant kung sino yung bidder ka. Sa sunod po kayo sir, may tanong. Okay. Kayo po.
Sorry yung regarding that sa stock na doon, during the stock. Is the barracks allowed inside the bank?
Mamaya sir, part gusto na ocular nyo. So tayo pwede yung mag-bidder.
How about sir yung liability in terms of the continuation of the case?
Ano
How would we address that? Kasi di ba may phase 1, phase 2, and then phase 3. And we have different contractors.
As per BOP, nagbigay po kami ng budget for commission. Administrative test time. Additional time budget for. So, para
So, it means na kung sino yung magiging main bidder will take full liability of this factor.
hindi po. Mayroon pa rin po silang kuha. Ang ano lang po natin, assurance lang po. So, check up. So, check lang. Pero ang ano lang po natin is kung ano yung cover ng scope natin, which is yung pwede yung pakita po.
Ay, PowerPoint.
Yung kanina. Back lang po ng web sa taas. Taas na lang po pinakatas. 6 line 7 line. Ito pa. Bumaba po. Yan po. Ito po yung current scope ng phase 2. Yung nasa kanan. Yan po yung coverage ng current contractor.
Pakitayo pa doon sa record. Mas ano nila.
Ito po yung current scope ng current contractor natin ng phase 2. Set it phase 1. So ito hindi pa to mga posto lang to. Pero ito covered to ng current contractor dahil sa liability. So kung ano yung, kaya tayo naglagay pa ng budget for testing. Pag natapos, test natin para safe tayo sa phase 3. Para pasok tayo natin. Mayroon tayong assurance na hindi natin is naka as per specified na pagka. I-upload na lang po itong buong presentation ng people sa yung NGP naman po, ongoing to pero naka-adjust na rin po sa inyo.
August 17. So after August 17, sir, second August na sa.
Hindi sir, kumbaga, yung di ba may pilot plan na pwede yung simulan kapag entity, then by August, saka yung take over yung part ng in building.
Ito po, available na po to, tsaka ito, gamitin. Ito po maging available at August 2nd weekly. May start. Andito po kasi yung current Powerhouse. Ito po yung Powerhouse. Pamove na lang po sa next lang. Next. Ito po yung existing plan natin. Ito yung power plan. Ito yung current apparatus. Ito yung plano niya. Ito yung kanal kanina. Pwede yung road. Ito yung magiging hold point natin hanggang August. Ito main building. Pero ito pwede na natin galawan ito. Tsaka ito. Meron na tayong site possession. So, as per Sir Jess, August 17 yung natin makahan over sa akin.
So, building bigger.
Naka-specify naman sa sa site possession notice kung anong
Area.
yung area na makukuha.
Yes.
So,
Sir, clarify ko lang. Nabanggit kanina na walang papasok pala. But the design engine would be submitted during the reconstruction or on board. Kasi it will be subject for approval pa eh. Prior to implementation.
Sa ang
EOR po.
may design pa rin doon.
May EOR.
Galing siya kanina,
May calendar din.
Nakalagay yan. Sa T1 po, sa may table po.
Sa page
20 days ata, if I'm not mistaken, 20 days ata.
30 days naman yung design.
Pero yung recalling period niya, sa nagsisimula yung 30 days.
Year to.
Yun.
Ano po pa? Kapag issue mo sa CDP, start na yung design mo. Then may certain base naman yung design period. So, yan o.
Construction of plane shall start after 100. So, yung preliminary to sleep. 30 days to sleep.
So it means yung site investigations and report prior to our opinion. Okay.
Start po. After po.
After.
After that,
After NDP, start.
Pag sa site possession na kayo.
So maybe 300,000. Ano na is total.
Yes. So,
Parang
yan sir, included yan sa 300 calendar.
ito yung 300.
Kasi yun yung contract duration natin. Hindi yan additional sa 300. Included yan sa 300.
Okay na po.
yes, sir.
Okay. Wala na po.
Sa last na lang, sir,
Limited.
pwedeng i-disclose natin kung sino yung phase 1 and phase 2 contractor.
Ito po, magtatanong. May tanong ba po kayo?
Wala na, wala.
Wala kayo, sure kayo na. Ayan, yung B2 construction. MSB2. Yung complaint. Okay na po. Sige po, kung wala na pong clarification, wala naman po tayong correction. Ang i-ano na lang po natin, i-update yung annexes. Ano po, within the day naman po, pwede nyo na rin access ito. Once updated, then right after the meeting, we'll susunod na po dun sa site para dun sa inspection nyo sana. Po. Yun po siguro online, makipag-coordinate na lang po sa secretariat para sa schedule. Ito, kung wala na, binabit. Sige.
Sir, siguro yung site inspection, mamaya ang 1:10 o 1:30. Okay lang sa inyo. Kasi alam nga. So, pwede ba nga?
Ibang ano, hindi bumalik ka na.
Or pwede ibang araw.
Yung mga hindi uuwi, di pwede sila ng 1:30. Pero yung gusto hindi ko alam.
Kasi sir, baka malalayo silang gagalingan nyo. Ang pasok po namin hanggang ngayon lang. Bukas wala pa.
Wala ko bukas.
Monday to Thursday lang kasi ang FNRIs. Dahil na-compress 4 days or 3 lang kami. So, ang next site inspection natin ay Monday. Para sure may, kasi kailangan may sasama din na consulting namin sa consultant namin may sasama for clarification din. Kasi baka may magtanong din sa inyo para masagot on site. Pero mamaya meron tayong first batch 1:30 sir, 1. O 1 na lang, 1 o'clock. Tapos yung next batch natin ay Monday 9 p.m. Kasi ilalabas pa natin yun sa bid bulletin.
Kailangan siya. Na nandun pa.
Kailangan.
Ayun. So, para yung ibang stress leaders pa na hindi present,
Ang ano siya.
ay pwede pa sila
Sa site visit.
tapos
Hindi ba
sa batch 2 na site inspection.
Confirm kung sino yung
Mamaya. Sino ang pwede mamaya? So, Kael, ano pa? So, kailangan.
Ang bitog na hindi pa makas.
Dito, makakasama ba?
Pwede.
Kasi, syempre, hindi nyo, kahit na nandun kayo, hindi nyo naman totally alam yung scope. So,
sasabihin pa rin yung others.
saka, ano yun, na mandatory requirement, yung certificate ng site inspection.
Yes.
So, kung wala yun, sa envelope, ay automatic disqualification.
Oo, parang ganyan sir.
Ako pa ba lang, sir?
Ayan po yun.
Yung certificate.
With attendance po kasi, may attendance tayo na pupunta ron. Then from here, we will issue the certificate.
Maski yung online.
Yes, po.
Kahit ipadala na lang
Yung
later.
online sir, not possible sir kasi on site po yun.
Kasi yung ano yung
Yung certificate.
Sabi, opo, pwede naman.
nandiyan naman po ang mga email address nito.
Yes.
Yung bid bulletin, sir, na i-issue ngayon.
Ano bang ibibid bulletin natin?
Katulad, sir, yung schedule ng site inspection para sa mga prospective leaders.
I-specify talaga. O sige,
Monday to Thursday.
yan.
Or Tuesday. Kasi baka masyadong time yung Monday.
Kumbaga last inspection is hanggang Tuesday. Basta para abot doon sa deadline natin. So 26.
Opo. Kasi siyempre baka mas maganda, mas maraming leader.
Parang magkaroon sa inspection ng Monday kasi magpo-post rin
Bid bulletin.
bulletin ng Monday. Ang second batch ng inspection ay Tuesday lang.
Tuesday na lang.
Habang sa mga prospective bidders na hindi nila konti sa bid bulletin up to 26 kasi naman sir.
Hindi opening.
2 days prior to opening sir, nag-site visit sila.
Hmm.
Kaya ako maging part of man.
Opo, basta makasubmit sila ng on time ng 26.
Yun nga, baka mas okay na wag na tayong maglagay kasi nakalagay naman na sa ITB
Basta
natin
mandatory,
oo, na
26.
required yung inspection eh.
Ina.
Yun
Ang ano
na
lang site inspection, kailangan kasama sa
Kasama kasi sila eh.
So, not all the time nandito si consultant.
Ah.
Dapat meron.
Kaya dapat may schedule talaga siya.
Sige, bigyan mo na lang ako ng ano. Kung kailan yung
Tuesday.
schedule.
Araw-araw na.
Hanggang Tuesday na lang.
Yan kaya yung magiging
Tuesday sa
yung problema ko kung ano, may
Sir,
na-review nyo na po ba yung mga drawings? So, baka hindi pa,
May time.
I would suggest na i-review nyo muna kung may isang mga drawing para magsanan yung punta doon, hindi yung pamaya, ay, wala. Kayo po, sina sir,
or baka pwede ko sa online pwede na sa hindi mga
pwede naman po. So, pag may query kayo online, pwede naman po.
Pero pag queries po through the back secretary na po, doon po hindi po didiretso sa secretariat po. Kasi kung ano man po yung magiging sagot sa inyo, ano kailangan malaan ng ibang feeders, i-digit ulit lang po.
Okay, sir.
Yung kaya sir, maraming sana.
Pwedeng magdalawang schedule, sir, ng ano?
Ang suggestion na nila sir, parang Tuesday na lang yung sana lahat.
Para ma-review pa ng plan, sir.
Mamaya may question siya, may question
Sabay.
sabay na. Para
Kasi pwede sana Wednesday 20, tsaka Friday 22, dalawa pa.
Friday.
Oo nga pala. Ano pala? 19 and 21 pala.
Tuesday ang suggestion niyo.
Tuesday
Okay
and
lang ba kayo
Thursday.
sa Tuesday na lang?
Kaya pa ang Tuesday.
Ayan sila eh.
Ayun sila.
Kaya pa ang Tuesday.
Kasi ang tinatarget pa kasi natin, sir, yung ibang full effective.
Hindi, hanggang ano.
Sasabitan sila ng dito.
So pwedeng dalawang schedule, sir.
Yes, yes po.
May
Inform niyo lang
May
po.
19 tsaka
Pero
May
ang last day,
21.
Tuesday.
Pa-inform lang.
Ilagay na lang natin sa bid bulletin. Kasi yung bid bulletin, i-issue sa Monday pa.
Hindi, pwede naman yun. Pwede na yun. Kung yun lang naman.
Parang ano lang inform sila na may dalawa lang schedule dates na
19,
Ng side inspect.
19 and 21.
Opo. Tuesday and Thursday yan, sir.
ano yung maghapon.
9 a.m. Sir Troy.
Yes po, yes po. Pwede po, sir.
Kasi sir, para sir, nandito sila.
9 to 3.
9 to 3.
Sunog. Yung sasamantalin natin, init na. Okay na po, kung wala na, we now proceed po sa instruction to bidders.
Okay po. So let me present the additional instruction for our prospective bidders. So yung iba naman po na-discuss na rin kanina. So first, the bidder shall affix their signature on all pages of the documents and to include any supplemental bid bulletin which will be available 2 to 5 days after today's pre-bid meeting. The bid bulletin can be downloaded from FNRI website and PhilJeps. The bid offer should not exceed the ABC and late bids will not be accepted. You can submit your bids on or before the opening on May 26, 2026, 9 o'clock in the morning. For sealing and marking of bids, we are using the single stage bidding or 2-envelope system. The first envelope shall contain the original eligibility, technical and financial requirements marked as original copy. Then the second envelope shall contain the duplicate copy marked as copy 1. So ano po, since we have 5, we are requiring 1 original and 5 duplicate copies or copy 1 to copy 5. So the first and second envelopes will be placed in a big envelope. So here is the illustration. The original technical component and the original financial shall be placed in the first envelope, while the copy 1 to 5 will be placed in the second envelope. Then the first and second envelopes will be placed in a big envelope. To avoid disqualification, the bidders are reminded to include in their submission of the eligibility and technical specifications the following. The bid security, bidders may opt to submit bid security declaration, or in the absence of the bid security declaration, 2% of the total ABC if cash or manager's check, or 5% of the total ABC issued by a surety or insurance company duly certified by the Insurance Commission. So for similar contracts shall refer to contracts which have the same major categories of work, which shall be as follows. So as per section 5.2 of the bid data sheet, for major category of works, for construction, building construction without piles, high-rise concrete frame, 10 and above stories. For similar category of works, building, construction of medium-rise reinforced building structure using reinforced concrete construction framing. NFCC computation is based on 15% as the constant. And for any additional information and instruction, please refer to the bid bulletin. So the prospective bidders are reminded that we are now adopting the new Government Procurement Act or RA number 12009. So the bid documents as well as the bidding forms are in accordance with the new Government Procurement Act. And as posted din po sa ating instruction to bidders, the award criteria that will be used for this procurement is the MAYARB or the most economic and advantageous responsive bid. So for any clarifications or inquiries, you may contact the back secretariat at the following contact details. Sige po sir, yung presentation na to is i-email namin sa inyo. Nandun naman po yung email address nyo sa attendance.
Kasama yung drawings.
Yan.
I-upload na lang daw sir sa sa Google Drive.
Within the listed na. Baka help ba yung mga ano nila. Ilagyan na lang ng
Yun na,
data sora siguro.
PDF ko na lang. Ayun, paki-PDF. Tapos, please, may skip.
Okay na po, may clarification. Kung hindi po kayo makakapunta personally, pwede niyo po submit yung big docs nyo a day before or before 9 AM. Hindi naman po kailangan na nandito personally yung or may representative. Na rin po tayo, online din po ating opinion. Magkano ang big docs nito, Sir Jensen?
75,000.
Na po, see you po sa 26. Maraming salamat po.
Eh,
Bibigyan po. Di po December. Thank you.